Now let's talk about Texas wetlands. Wetlands in Texas can be divided into two broad categories. The first is freshwater wetlands. These can form wherever shallow water collects on the land. These are our river floodplains, bottomland hardwoods, marshes, seeps, springs, ponds, playa lakes, sloughs, oxbow swamps, along some of our stream banks and lake areas, and places where the water table reaches the surface. Freshwater wetlands contain plant species adapted to life where water levels may go up and down. Many of these species can withstand periods when wetlands may even become dry. The other broad category is coastal wetlands. These form where saltwater and freshwater mix together. These are our coastal shorelines, our shallow bays and inlets, swamps, marshes, mudflats, and deltas of our coastal lowlands and estuaries. Plant species must be able to survive changes in both salinity and water level because these wetlands are often affected by changes in the amount of freshwater inflow and tidal fluctuations in water level. Within these categories, Texas has several kinds of wetland ecosystems. Where you are located in the state will determine which kind of wetlands you see. First, the high plains. Playa Lake wetlands are found in the Texas High Plains. These wetlands form in shallow depressions in the land's surface. They're usually round and small and about 15 to 20 acres in size. These depressions naturally fill with water from rain or snow to form wetlands that are only about a foot or so deep. There are about 20,000 of these in Texas, and they play a major role in recharge of the Ogallala Aquifer. Playa lakes go through frequent wet and dry cycles. Riparian wetlands are also found on the high plains. These are the wetlands that form along the edges of streams and rivers. They provide important food and cover for wildlife. Next are the Central Texas riparian and spring-fed wetlands. Spring-fed wetlands are an amazing geologic feature of Central Texas. These wetlands are filled by water that may have traveled great distances underground in an aquifer before flowing to the surface to form the wetland. Springs occur where there are faults, cracks, and other openings in the aquifer. Riparian wetlands are also found in Central Texas. Next are South Texas wetlands. Wetlands in South Texas are of two main types. Sand sheet wetlands. These are small, isolated depressions found in places where wind erodes away topsoil, exposing clay soils underneath. These depressions trap and hold water when it rains. The other main type are called resacas. Resacas are channels of the Rio Grande that have been cut off from the river. These channels fill with water and sediment, creating shallow wetlands and ponds. Sand sheet wetlands and resacas may be the only places wildlife can find fresh water in this very arid part of Texas. Both kinds of wetlands can become dried during periods of drought. Trans-Pecos wetlands. In the Trans-Pecos region, spring-fed wetlands are often found on the side of mountains or in small mountain valleys. These are called mountain springs. These are small wetlands found in the Guadalupe Mountains, Chisos Mountains, and other rugged highland areas of West Texas. Cienegas are another type of spring-fed wetland. These are small, isolated springs that occur on the desert floor in West Texas. Cienegas and mountain springs provide water for plants and animals that couldn't otherwise survive in the desert. East Texas wetlands. Bottomland hardwoods are the dominant wetlands in East Texas. These are known for the large trees that live in the water. They are also called forested wetlands. Unlike Most of Texas, East Texas receives large amounts of rainfall. This rain floods streams and rivers, spilling water out onto the floodplains. The force of this flooding often reshapes the stream bottoms and floodplains, forming bottomland hardwood wetlands in heavily wooded areas. Floods can cut across stream and river curves, forming new channels for the water to flow through. When this happens, oxbow lakes form in the cut-off loop of the stream channel. As the oxbow lake fills with sediment, they become wetlands. This is the same process that forms resacas in the Rio Grande Valley. As these lakes fill naturally with sediment, they transition from lakes to wetlands and then to dry land over many years. Next are Gulf Coast wetlands. These are coastal wetlands that are formed when saltwater and freshwater mix. Salinities vary widely as freshwater inflow to coastal areas can go up and down. There may be times the water is entirely fresh or times when the salinity can be even greater than in ocean water. These wetlands can form in depressions in the land near the coast's bays and estuaries. Rains fill these depressions, and sometimes storms push salt water into them. Coastal wetlands can also form in low-lying areas of land where rivers flow into estuaries and bays. Many coastal wetlands have water levels and salinities that fluctuate daily because they are subjected to tides. These are called tidal wetlands and are the tidal flats, bays, marshes, and bayous that we see throughout the Texas coast.